Hi, I'm Julie. I always feel weird doing introductions or whatever this is, so yeah, I just thought that in this video I would talk about, oh my gosh, look, I'm scratching. Okay, this is one of the symptoms of my anxiety, I guess, or at least it's like one of the things that I do when I'm anxious, is I am always, oh my gosh, I'm always scratching, like, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about this topic of anxiety because I feel like a lot of people struggle with it, and I just think I just think that some open discussion about it is helpful to people. Like, the reason I was inspired to make this video is because of this sermon series at my church right now. It's like all about being less hurried in life and less busy and like less burdened by like a lot of these stresses and anxieties that come with our modern day life of like everyone's always has big busy schedules, and like modern life is like, you know, you get all these notifications on your phone, and it's like a lot of like distraction from your sort of inner peace, I guess. So that's like what the sermon series is about. I need to stop scratching. Yeah, so it's cool because we had this one sermon about like the speaker's experiences with overloading her life with a lot of stuff and not enough, you know, just slow down family time or whatever it might be. Not enough of like enjoying the actual pleasures of life, like going on a nice walk and like looking at mountains and, you know, all those relaxing things that people don't really prioritize or make time for nowadays. I mean, I'm just generalizing. Like, I'm sure there's lots of people who actually do make time for those things. Good on ya. Anyway, another thing that inspired me to make this video is I was watching 73 Questions on Vogue channel, and it was Camila Cabello. I like her. And she was just saying that, she actually said something interesting to me. She said that after every single concert she does, she has anxiety so bad that she has acid reflux, and the acid reflux is so bad that she can't stand after a concert. And that was like so like eye-opening to me to hear, because I thought, I just didn't know that, you know, people went through these things just like me, basically. Because like sometimes, not every, like most of my anxiety is related to auditions, but not every audition like causes me to be so stressed. It's just like the ones where I'm like I really, really, really want this one. And I remember when I was younger, I would get anxiety if, you know, my agent dropped me, because like that's a thing that happens, is like an agent can terminate their working relationship with you. You, the actor, you are the agent's client. So that's happened to me twice. And I remember when I was younger, I really couldn't handle that. I was so distraught and depressed when that would happen, because it's like the biggest rejection, and it felt like the end of the world. That was actually one of the instigating factors. I had been dropped by an agent, and then that was one of the instigating factors that kind of like led to me being in the mental hospital, and then I was later diagnosed with bipolar 1. I've sort of touched on this in other videos, but yeah, that was actually one of the instigators of like me having a breakdown at 16 years old. But yeah, and then after that, like, I just wanted to tell you about some other things. Like, when I was younger, like 17, 18, or I don't know, I took like a 1 year break from acting and going to auditions after the whole hospitalization to just kind of like recuperate my mental health. So after my 1 year break, I like jumped back into it, of course. And I remember I would get kind of like what Camila Cabello was saying. I would get like acid reflux. But I don't know if it's the same thing. GERD, is GERD a thing? Or maybe I'm mixing it up, but it's like gastro something, some gastro, I don't know what it stands for. Maybe that's like the wrong acronym. I don't know, but like it would be, like I actually went to the doctor for this because I would get like 5,000 burps or something. Like I would just, they're kind of like hiccups, but they're like burps. Like they're burps that were like acid, you know? I mean, because it's like burps from your stomach, it's like acid burps. I don't know, but I would get those, and I'd get them like so many times within like a second, like just burp after burp after burp. It'd be like, yeah, so I would get that like before auditions because I was just so nervous. It was just like, for me, it was just like so, I was so terrified because like I have a lot of like traumatic audition memories. Like I've had moments in auditions where I've done so badly and I've blanked on all my lines. And so just like sometimes after you've done that and you know you've done that, you just have the biggest fear of repeating that same mistake and blanking all your lines again in this whatever upcoming audition. Because like if you have already done that, then you know that you're capable of it. You know, like you're capable of completely failing and falling on your face in an audition. So then you get even more fearful of it, if that makes sense. Because you know you have a tendency to freeze up in auditions, so then you just get even more scared of freezing up in auditions, like further auditions, like more auditions, future auditions. But yeah, like because I had those memories of me just doing so badly in auditions, I would get so scared in the few minutes like before I go into the dreaded audition room. And another thing I did when I was nervous, or just, I don't know if this is like common or whatever, but like I would scratch a lot, like when I was frustrated, or when it wasn't that I scratched because I wanted to like dig my nails into my skin. It wasn't really because of that. It was just because I would feel itchy when I get nervous. And that itchiness is usually on my scalp or my neck, or like anywhere close to my hair, basically. I would get itchy and then I would scratch, and then I would scratch so hard though that I would scab up. Like I would have scabs on my hairline because I scratched there, and it would be like dried up blood. That's what a scab is. But yeah, like I actually have scabs on my leg right now because I just scratched it all up. Yeah, that's like a really bad habit that comes from, it just comes from me, I guess, like not trusting in the Lord and like just not being peaceful and relaxed. Because obviously in this high anxiety state or high frustration state, that's when I feel the itchies, and then I feel like I have to scratch to like make the itchies go away, but then it just like really hurts my skin, and then I see all these scabs after, and it's like, what am I, that is so mad. So yeah, that's like another bad habit. The acid reflux stuff, that went away. Like, I don't experience that anymore now. Now it's just like I have this scratching issue, but I've had this issue for a long time. And I actually thought that I had eczema on my neck for a long time, and I was like, oh, how do I heal this eczema on my neck? But then I realized it wasn't eczema, it was anxiety-induced scratching or itchiness, and then I would scratch it, and then it's scratching-induced rashes. So I would get rashes on my neck because of the scratching, and then those rashes would be even more itchier, and then that would promote even more scratching, and it's like a vicious cycle, you know? So it wasn't actually eczema at all. I was always thinking, oh, I have eczema on my neck. But actually it was my own fault, because when I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't really know the origin, the cause of the itchiness, but I just know I get this itchy feeling when I'm not, you know, namaste, when I'm not peaceful. So yeah. I remember seeing this one movie. I forgot what it was called. Oh my god. I'm not a very informative YouTuber. But it was this movie, and it was about this actress. It was actually a horror movie. I think it's called like Starlet? No, I don't know, something. The main actress, she's actually an actress from Vancouver too. And so her character got so nervous before auditions that she would, or actually after auditions, like after she would do badly in an audition, she would actually like pull her hair out in the bathroom. And this is like a very dramatized horror movie. Obviously it's a horror movie, but like, wow. When I watched that scene in that movie, I was like the internal pain that she's going through, I can relate with. Like, I don't pull my hair out, but I scab my skin, so don't know if that's worse or better. But yeah, like, it was interesting to me to hear that Camila Cabello said that after concerts she would get so nervous, because I actually experienced that recently. Like, after this one audition that I really wanted to do well, it was actually a tape, and I watched that tape over and over obsessively after I had already submitted it, so there was nothing I could do about it at that point, but I just kept watching it over and over obsessively, and I was like, this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. It's not good enough. And I like literally could not sleep for a day or 24 hours or something, because I was so worked up over like that specific tape not being good enough, and just like downward spiraling and just not being able to rest. My soul was not in a resting mode. It was just hyperactive. Like, I was in like the highest of like worrying. Like, I was worrying so much. And it's not a nice feeling. Worrying is not a nice feeling. That's why God was like, Jesus was like, you know, worry only about today. Tomorrow will worry about itself. Or, I don't know. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know what the actual verse is. But yeah, worry is such a bad thing for you. Don't worry, be happy. That's actually like one of the things that was said in the most recent sermon. But yeah, I mean, it's hard, especially I think when you're auditioning. Or, I mean, it's gotten easier for me since I've auditioned. I started auditioning when I was 13, so it's been 10 years. But yeah, like, as I get more practice, I get more relaxed. But there are still just some auditions that really, they really stay in my mental head, and I'm like, my mental head? They just haunt me after I do them, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no, no. I hate this, you know? But yeah, I just think it's good to talk about these things and to let other people know that whatever fears and anxieties and worries that they have, that that feeling isn't like just you know? Sorry, my battery died. But in my downtime, as I was charging my battery, I looked up what that movie that I referred to was called. It's a horror film, Starry Eyes, 2014. Directed by Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer. Probably butchering those names. And I wanted to also say, like, maybe the itchiness is because I'm allergic to my cat, Tappy. But that's like a whole nother concern. I'm never gonna leave my cat, so that's just the reality. I don't really remember where I was, but I don't even remember what thought I was on. But I think you kind of like got what I was saying in my last tangent. So I'm just gonna jump into another thing I wanted to mention is that, like, you know, how when you're younger and you're in high school and like in my experience, I was like a very lonely teenager, I guess. But I had these like, you know, grandiose dreams and ambitions. I was like, oh, one day, like, I'll be a successful artist, people will like my art, and I'll have that sort of validation that I don't have right now. And, you know, back then I was like thinking, you know, like, one day I'll prove all the people who don't believe in me wrong, and like, that was sort of like what I would think about to like motivate myself to like just keep going and not listen to any self-doubt. And I'm just finding this all funny now because like I actually had so much anxiety with just my small tiny part in 12 the Boys coming out and being released. I had so much anxiety about that, like because I hadn't seen the movie, I hadn't read the script, I didn't really know what the reception would be, and also because I knew the first one was such a big deal, and I knew that the distributor, Netflix, was gonna be in so many countries, and I was freaking scared out of my mind. I was like, I was scared because I hadn't seen my performance, and I thought I did so bad. I thought I was such a bad actor. And I you know, because when you're shooting it, like on the day for me, I didn't, you know, watch myself. I didn't watch myself back. You know, I couldn't tell if what I was doing was like really what I wanted to do. I couldn't tell. I was just trying to channel Haven as much as I could, right? But yeah, I really couldn't tell. I thought I was doing bad. At the time that we were shooting it, like on the day that we shot it, I thought I was doing bad. So that's why I was so scared. And then after it did come out and like, you know, people liked it, I got anxious about people liking it too. Like I was still not, you would think that you would be happy, like, you know, that people like it and stuff, but like I still felt scared. I still felt scared, and I felt like, you know, it was all just out of my control. So that's like a scary thing when you're a control freak like me. And, you know, like when I was younger, I thought, oh, I'm gonna have like these admirers who like my art, and they're gonna like follow me on my social media and stuff. And then now that there are more people following me on social media, I'm like, this is actually not as thrilling as I thought it would be. You know, when I was younger, I was like, oh, you know, this would be so exciting to be more popular and blah blah blah. But to me now, I'm like, I have those days where I feel like it's actually scary, because, you know, your world is changing and change is scary, and yeah, I don't know how to really describe it. It's just weird and scary. Like, I keep saying scary, but yeah. And even Lana Condor, she was saying this too, like when she was about to go to the LA premiere, she was all scared in her vlog on YouTube. So yeah, like, this didn't occur to me that much when I was younger and just having these fantasies about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a very unstable and tumultuous, I think, environment to be an actor, because you never know if you're gonna get another job. You never know if people are gonna value what you have to give, or so you have to kind of, like, you know, feel like what you are giving is enough and that you are enough. But that's for everybody, like, not just actors. Anyway, I think I'm rambling now, so I'm just gonna end this video, and I hope it can stir a conversation or a thought process in your head about anxiety and, like, maybe the anxieties in your life, and just know that you're not alone. Bye. Okay, it's me again. One more thing. I just wanted to also say, like, I would also get really nauseous before performing, and I would cough a lot. Basically, I would get nauseous, and then I would cough a lot, because the coughing kind of made me feel, coughing is kind of like the scratching to the itch of nausea for me. Like, when I feel nauseous, I cough it out to, like, cough my nausea out or something. I don't know if that's a thing, but I just wanted to really list, like, the actual visceral physical symptoms from the anxiety that I experienced, because I know that that's what really touched me when I was listening to people describe their experiences. And yeah, so yeah, I don't know, I'm just putting this out there. I hope you got something out of it. I will try to make a happy video next week.